Speaking of extremes and skepticism and nuance, I can't believe I have to say this. There was an op-ed in the New York Times that I somewhat enjoyed. I almost want to end the show right there before I hate that I have to say that. But Nick Kristof in the New York Times published an op-ed that I sort of enjoyed. It's about internet porn. It's called The Children of Pornhub, subheader, why does Canada allow this company, PORNHUB, I guess the largest porn company in the world, why does Canada allow this company to profit off videos of exploitation and assault? And the article begins, Pornhub prides itself on being the cheery, winking face of naughty, the website that buys a billboard in Times Square and provides snow plows to clear Boston streets. It donates to organizations fighting for racial equality and offers steamy content free to get people through COVID-19 shutdowns. That supposedly wholesome Pornhub attracts 3.5 billion visits per month. Oh my gosh. More than Netflix, Yahoo, or Amazon. Pornhub rakes in money from almost 3 billion ad impressions a day. One ranking lists Pornhub as the 10th most visited website in the world. Yet there's another side to this company. It's infested with rape videos. It monetizes child rapes, revenge pornography, spy cam videos of women showering, racist and misogynist content, and footage of women being asphyxiated in plastic bags. A search for girls under 18, no space, or 14-year-old, or 14YO, leads in each case to more than 100,000 videos. Most aren't of children being assaulted, but too many are. You get the point. This brings us back to a debate that actually started last December, and it kind of split the right. What to do about the online porn problem. You had people who, in the name of a very degraded and shallow understanding of libertarianism, said, nah, porn's great. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson would love it. They basically wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution so that we could all watch videos of this trash, this wicked and debased stuff. And so we got to keep porn, no regulations. And then you had another side saying we need to ban porn. Just ban it. This is obviously horrible stuff. Just ban the porn right now. And this debate ensued. And I thought both sides sort of missed the point. It gets to a lot of our public debates right now. Actually, right to the top of the show, we were talking about, do you defend Trump or do you defend Georgia? How about both? How about you do both? How about you allow Trump to pursue his legal options and encourage him to pursue his legal options and don't encourage him to concede? And then how about you also try to hold the Senate by voting for those 2 Georgia senators? Why can't you do both? I think on the porn debate, we can acknowledge there is no constitutional right to pornography. Pornography has been highly regulated, if not outright illegal, from the very beginning of the country. We still have laws against obscenity. We jailed pornographers as recently as a dozen years ago. The founding fathers made a very clear distinction between liberty and licentiousness. Okay, and they did not support licentiousness, and they realized that licentiousness, like Pornhub, is the opposite of true liberty, that it actually undermines liberty. Okay, that's the one hand. On the other hand, from the ban porn people, I think it's also worth remembering that conservatives are prudent. We have a practical quality to ourselves. It is not possible to eliminate lust from the heart of man. It's also not possible to eliminate the expressions of that lust. This is why some of the greatest theologians and moral thinkers in history, St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas, actually defended legal prostitution, not because they thought legal prostitution was a good thing, but because they acknowledged that it's the world's oldest profession. It actually predates politics, just barely. I guess you might say it's a form of politics. The two seem very similar. And Augustine and Thomas's point was that if you eliminated prostitution entirely, the entire civilization would be convulsed with lust. And so what you had to do is regulate it, put it in one area, a red light district, for instance, and treat it seriously as the danger that it is, but also recognize that it's impractical, probably impossible to get rid of it entirely. Why can't we have that conversation? I think once we eliminate the kind of stupid idea that we have a natural or constitutional right to look at porn, and we also eliminate the imprudent and impractical idea that you can utterly eliminate porn, we can have a real conversation, which is that this is obviously a major problem confronting the country. You've got, well, especially in this generation, you've got kids who have been exposed to this, young boys, from very early age. They get hooked on it. It warps their brain. It warps their lives. It creates an addiction that a lot of people want to get away from. How about you can look at the number of people in this country. There was some study that said 93 or 94% of men have looked at online pornography. And of course, the typical rejoinder to that is, and 6% of men are liars. It basically is a ubiquitous problem. So how about you deal with that and say, yeah, this is bad. This is different than having a Playboy under your bed in the 1970s. This is the ubiquity of it, the ease of use, the stimulation of it is a distinct problem, and then heavily regulated. If I wanted to go buy a Playboy down the street, I would have to go and show an ID. Why do we not have the same mechanism for online porn, like a website like PORNHUB? To say we're not going to completely outlaw the thing, but you have to upload an ID, because in that case, it's not just saying only adults can get it. I actually don't think adults should be able to easily access it either. It introduces an element of shame. You have to show an ID, and therefore you're saying, yeah, I am openly going to be looking at this kind of material, which is very shameful. That would reduce the number of people who do it. Now, you might have people making fake IDs. You might have people getting around the rules. Sure, okay, right. But as conservatives especially, we should know better than anybody that you can't let the perfect get in the way of the good. You can't let ideological purity get in the way of practical results. You can't let these abstractions get in the way of prudence. If you could reduce this problem, a problem that's so bad that even left-wingers in the freaking New York Times are observing it now. It's not just the church ladies, wagging their fingers. It's not just Puritans and prudes wagging their fingers. Everybody is recognizing this is a problem. Why not arrive at a sort of prudent solution? That is a central conservative insight, is prudence. And I think we ought to apply it to fraught public policy issues here. This is why I often encourage people not to cling to ideology, in the way that some people they break their politics down into 3 bullet points and they say, no, liberty means that I need to go look at porn all the time. No, it doesn't. Obviously it doesn't. And this applies to the presidential race too. Go win in Georgia. Go win at the presidential level. At least try. There's no reason not to try. And there's nothing admirable or virtuous about prioritizing that kind of abstract purity over practical results.